The departure. The wind whispered through the research facility's observation deck, carrying with it the weight of an impossible goodbye. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood motionless, her dark eyes fixed on the extraordinary being before her. Zentara, the Calirian diplomat, was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered, a being of crystalline skin that shifted like living mercury, with eyes that held the depth of entire galaxies. "You understand the implications of what you're proposing?" Elena's voice was steady, but her hands betrayed a slight tremor. Years of xenobiological research had prepared her for many scenarios, but not for this, not for a promise that defied the very limitations of time and space. Zentara's form rippled, a gesture that Elena had come to recognize as contemplation. "Promises are the bridges between civilizations," the alien responded, their voice a harmonic blend of frequencies that seemed to resonate within Elena's very bones. "What I offer is more than a simple diplomatic agreement. It is a covenant." The research facility hummed with anticipation. Outside, the early morning light of the New Mexico desert painted the horizon in soft oranges and blues, a stark contrast to the extraordinary moment unfolding within the sterile research complex. Dozens of scientists, military personnel, and government officials watched from a distance, their breaths held in collective suspense. Elena knew the risks. Zentara's proposal was unprecedented, a diplomatic mission that would take the alien diplomat far beyond known space, with a promise to return when humanity would need her most. No specific timeline, no definitive coordinates, just a commitment that transcended conventional understanding of diplomacy and connection. "The quantum entanglement communication device," Elena said, retrieving a small, impossibly complex device from a nearby console, "will be our only link, but the probability of maintaining a connection across such vast distances is minimal," Zentara completed her sentence, "yet not impossible." The alien's crystalline form moved closer, and Elena felt a subtle vibration, a form of communication that went beyond words, beyond language. Dr. Marcus Henderson, Elena's senior colleague, approached cautiously. "Are you certain about this, Zentara? The risks to both your mission and our understanding are astronomical." Zentara's form shifted, creating a pattern that Elena had learned was equivalent to a smile. "Certainty is a human construct. What I offer is a probability, a chance for mutual understanding that extends beyond this moment." The quantum communication device was unlike any technology humanity had developed. Developed through a collaborative effort between human scientists and Calirian researchers, it represented the pinnacle of interdimensional communication technology. Theoretical mathematics suggested it could maintain a connection across unimaginable distances, but no one had ever tested it at this scale. Elena's mind raced with calculations, with possibilities. Their research had begun 5 years ago when Zentara's ship first entered Earth's solar system, not as an invader, but as a diplomatic envoy. What started as a cautious first contact had evolved into a profound scientific and cultural exchange that challenged everything humanity thought it knew about extraterrestrial intelligence. "The promise," Elena said softly, "is that you'll return when humanity needs you most, but how will you know?" Zentara's form crystallized, becoming momentarily solid, a rare occurrence that signaled absolute seriousness. "Some connections transcend time and space. What binds us is not a technological mechanism, but something far more profound." The countdown began. Zentara's ship, a vessel that seemed to defy the very laws of physics, constructed from materials unknown to human science, waited on the expansive desert launch pad. Its surface shimmered, moving between visibility and invisibility, a testament to technologies beyond human comprehension. As the final preparations completed, Elena felt something she couldn't quite describe. It wasn't sadness, nor was it excitement. It was a profound sense of potential, of a connection that might reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. "Promise me," Elena whispered, "that you'll remember." Zentara's response came not in words, but in a harmonious resonance that seemed to fill the entire facility. A promise, a connection, a bridge between worlds. And then, in a moment that would be recorded in history but understood by few, Zentara departed, leaving behind only the quantum communication device and a promise that would echo through centuries. The desert wind continued to blow, indifferent to the extraordinary moment that had just transpired, carrying with it the first whispers of a story that was far from over. Centuries of waiting. The Thompson family archives were a meticulously maintained collection of scientific curiosities, passed down through generations. At the center of this collection sat a device that defied explanation, a quantum communication artifact that had become both a family legend and an obsession. Marcus Thompson stood in his great-grandfather's study, surrounded by holographic displays and ancient paper documents. The room was a testament to 3 generations of researchers who had dedicated their lives to understanding a promise made centuries ago. Soft blue light from the quantum device illuminated his face, casting long shadows across the walls lined with historical records. "Another dead end," Marcus muttered, running his fingers through his graying hair. He was the latest in a line of researchers who had pursued the mysterious connection left behind by Dr. Elena Rodriguez and the alien diplomat Zentara. What had begun as a scientific curiosity had become a generational quest that bordered on mythology. The world had changed dramatically since that distant day in the New Mexico desert. Humanity had expanded beyond Earth, establishing colonies on Mars, Europa, and several exoplanets. Technological advancements had transformed society beyond recognition, yet the quantum communication device remained an unsolved mystery. Marcus's grandmother, Dr. Elena Rodriguez Thompson, had been the first to preserve the family's connection to the original encounter. Her journals, now digitized and carefully archived, spoke of a promise that transcended time, a diplomatic mission that would return when humanity needed it most. A holographic notification flickered to life, interrupting Marcus's thoughts. An incoming transmission from the Interplanetary Research Consortium blinked insistently. He swiped it open, revealing Dr. Kira Nakamura, his primary research partner. "Marcus, you need to see this." Kira's voice was unusually tense. The hologram shifted, displaying a series of quantum frequency anomalies that had been detected near the outer reaches of the solar system. "These patterns, they're unlike anything we've ever recorded. They're similar to the quantum signatures in your family's communication device." Marcus leaned forward, his heart racing. For decades, the device had been nothing more than a family artifact, a mysterious piece of technology that defied all attempts at analysis. Countless scientists had studied it, but its inner workings remained completely incomprehensible. "Send me the full data packet," he said, his voice barely a whisper. The Thompson family had a saying passed down through generations: "Some promises are worth waiting centuries to fulfill." The study around him seemed to pulse with potential. Holographic displays came to life, showing centuries of research, failed attempts, and tantalizing near discoveries. Maps of spatial anomalies, quantum frequency analyses, and archived communications created a complex tapestry of scientific pursuit. Outside the research facility's windows, the skyline of New Terra, humanity's first permanent Mars colony, stretched out in a breathtaking panorama of human achievement. Massive biodomes created artificial environments, while transport shuttles moved between massive architectural complexes that defied the planet's harsh landscape. But for Marcus, none of that mattered as much as the small, seemingly inert device that had been his family's most cherished possession. The quantum communication artifact was no larger than a human hand, its surface a complex lattice of materials that seemed to shift and change when observed too closely. Dr. Nakamura's voice broke through his contemplation. "The frequency matches historical records from the original Zentara encounter. But Marcus, these readings suggest something more. It's like the device is preparing for something." Marcus ran his fingers along the device's surface. Generations of Thompsons had touched this same artifact, each hopping to unlock its secrets. His great-grandfather had believed it was a communication device. His grandmother thought it might be a dimensional beacon. Now, Marcus was beginning to suspect it was something far more complex. "Prepare a full research team," he said, his voice steady, "and contact the Interplanetary Diplomatic Corps. Something is happening." As if in response, the quantum device emitted a soft, almost imperceptible pulse of light. For the first time in centuries, it seemed to be more than just an artifact. It seemed to be waiting. The promise was about to be remembered. The technological renaissance. The Global Reconstruction Council chamber hummed with tension. Holographic displays flickered around the circular room, projecting data streams that represented the most significant technological transformation in human history. Dr. Marcus Thompson stood at the epicenter, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he addressed the gathered representatives from Earth, Mars, and the outer colony networks. "We're not just talking about another technological breakthrough," Marcus began, his voice carrying the weight of decades of research. "This is a fundamental reimagining of human potential." The quantum communication device, now dubbed the Rodriguez-Zentara resonance mechanism, had become more than a scientific curiosity. It was the key to humanity's most revolutionary technological leap. Reverse-engineered fragments of the alien technology had sparked a renaissance that transformed every aspect of human civilization. Holographic projections showed the dramatic changes. Cities that once struggled with environmental challenges now flourished with adaptive architecture that could reshape itself in response to ecological conditions. Energy production had become completely sustainable, drawing power from quantum entanglement processes that seemed to pull energy directly from the fabric of space-time. Dr. Kira Nakamura stepped forward, her augmented neural interface casting a soft blue glow around her temples. "The breakthrough came from understanding just a fraction of the communication device's core principles," she explained. "It's not just a communication tool, it's a bridge between different states of existence." The changes were profound. Medical technology had advanced to the point where genetic repairs could be performed at the quantum level. Diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia were now nothing more than historical footnotes. Human lifespans had extended, with some individuals living well beyond 2 centuries while maintaining peak physical and mental capabilities. But it wasn't just technological progress. The discovery had fundamentally altered human society's understanding of its place in the universe. The existence of the Calirian civilization, even through just this single diplomatic encounter, had shattered old paradigms of isolation and limitation. Marcus walked to a holographic display showing a timeline of discoveries. Each breakthrough was marked with a subtle pulse, tracing back to the initial quantum communication device. Clean energy technologies, quantum computing breakthroughs, adaptive medical nanotechnologies, interstellar communication systems. "We're standing on the shoulders of a promise," Marcus said softly, more to himself than to the assembled council. Outside the council chambers, New Terra's capital city stretched out in a breathtaking display of human ingenuity. Massive biodomes created intricate ecosystems, while quantum-powered transport systems moved silently between architectural marvels that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Vertical gardens integrated seamlessly with living buildings, creating urban environments that were as much biological as they were technological. Dr. Elena Rodriguez Thompson's original research notes had become required reading in every scientific academy across human-controlled space. Her initial documentation of the Zentara encounter was now viewed as a pivotal moment in human history, the point where humanity truly understood its potential. "But something doesn't add up," Kira muttered, bringing up a complex series of quantum frequency analyses. "The communication device's core signature has been subtly changing. It's like it's preparing for something." Marcus nodded. For generations, his family had kept watch, waiting, wondering about the promise made so long ago. A young researcher approached, holding a data tablet. "Dr. Thompson, we've detected another anomaly in the quantum frequency bands, similar to the readings your grandmother documented decades ago." The room fell silent. The quantum communication device, dormant for centuries, seemed to pulse ever so slightly, a reminder that some promises transcend time and space. Something was coming, and humanity would be ready. Rediscovery. The quantum frequency alarm shattered the calm of the Interstellar Research Station. Dr. Marcus Thompson was reviewing data when the first tremors of an impossible event began to manifest. Holographic displays flickered, quantum stabilizers hummed with unexpected energy, and the very fabric of space around the station seemed to ripple. "Confirm visual," Marcus commanded, his voice steady despite the unprecedented readings flooding the system. The main viewing portal transformed, shifting from a view of the star-studded darkness to something that defied conventional understanding. A vessel emerged, not from any known direction of space, but seemingly woven into the fabric of reality itself. Its form was liquid and solid, constantly shifting, a living testament to technologies far beyond human comprehension. Kira Nakamura's voice crackled over the communication system. "Marcus, the quantum signature. It matches the original Rodriguez-Zentara communication device. 100% correlation." The ship, if it could be called a ship, approached with a grace that suggested it was more a living entity than a constructed vehicle. Organic crystalline structures pulsed with an inner light, creating patterns that seemed to communicate complex mathematical equations with each subtle shift. "Preparing diplomatic reception protocols," the station's AI announced, its synthesized voice betraying a hint of excitement. Generations of preparation had led to this moment. Marcus touched the quantum communication device, the family artifact that had been passed down through generations. It vibrated softly, resonating with the approaching vessel in a way that suggested a connection far deeper than mere technology. The first transmission came not as words, but as a complex quantum frequency that the station's most advanced computers struggled to interpret. Images flickered, fragments of memories, promises, a connection that had waited centuries to be fulfilled. "Zentara," Marcus whispered. The vessel's exterior began to transform, creating a docking interface that seemed to grow organically from its surface. Station protocols that had been rehearsed countless times now felt inadequate. This was no standard diplomatic encounter. This was a reunion centuries in the making. Diplomatic teams assembled, a carefully selected group of scientists, linguists, and cultural experts. Marcus stood at the forefront, the quantum communication device secured in a specialized containment field at his side. Generations of his family's research had led to this precise moment. The docking bay pressurized, atmospheric stabilizers hummed, and then with a soft pulse of light that seemed to bend reality itself, the connection was made. The first figure to emerge was not what anyone expected. Crystalline and fluid, yet distinctly recognizable as Zentara, though transformed by centuries of travel. The alien diplomat's form shifted, adapting to the station's environment, creating a presence that was both familiar and utterly alien. "The promise," Zentara's communication came not through sound, but through a complex quantum resonance that translated directly into thought, "is being remembered." Marcus stepped forward, the quantum communication device responding to Zentara's presence. Generations of waiting, of research, of hope, all converging in this singular moment. "We've been waiting," Marcus said, his voice carrying the weight of his family's legacy. Zentara's form rippled, a gesture of acknowledgement. "Humanity was not ready then, now you are prepared to understand." The station around them seemed to pulse with anticipation. Outside, the vast darkness of space held its breath. A promise made centuries ago was about to be fulfilled. Something extraordinary was about to begin. Confronting the unknown. The Interstellar Diplomatic Council chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from Earth, Mars, and the outer colony network stood in heated debate, their holographic projections creating a fractured landscape of conflicting interests. "We cannot simply accept an alien presence without full disclosure," Ambassador Elena Rodriguez, a distant descendant of the original researcher, slammed her hand on the council table. Her eyes blazed with a mixture of scientific curiosity and diplomatic caution. Zentara's form rippled across the chamber, simultaneously present and ethereal. The alien diplomat's quantum-based communication translated thoughts faster than any human language could process. "Disclosure is not a single moment," Zentara responded, "but a journey of mutual understanding." Dr. Marcus Thompson stood at the center of the storm, the quantum communication device now integrated with the station's most advanced systems. Years of research had prepared humanity for this moment, yet nothing could truly prepare them for the reality of Zentara's return. Military strategists argued in hushed tones. The quantum technologies humanity had developed, inspired by fragments of Zentara's original communication device, had transformed human civilization. But the full potential of the alien technology remained a mystery. "The promise," Marcus interjected, his voice cutting through the mounting tension, "was never about invasion. It was about preparation." Kira Nakamura brought up a series of complex holographic displays. Quantum frequency analyses, historical research, and predictive models danced across the chamber. Each projection told a fragment of a larger story, a story of a promise made centuries ago, of a civilization preparing for something beyond immediate comprehension. Zentara's form shifted, creating complex geometric patterns that seemed to communicate on multiple levels simultaneously. "Humanity stands at a threshold," the alien diplomat communicated. "The technologies you've developed are not an endpoint but a beginning." Outside the diplomatic chamber, the reality of human expansion was visible. Massive space stations orbited multiple planets. Quantum communication networks connected civilizations across vast distances. Humanity had become a multiplanetary species, transformed by the initial encounter decades ago. But something was different now. The quantum communication device that had been a family heirloom for generations began to pulse with an intensity never before seen. Marcus could feel it, a connection that transcended technological understanding. "What threat are you preparing us for?" Ambassador Rodriguez demanded, her scientific lineage showing in every calculated word. Zentara's response was both a warning and a promise. Images flickered through the chamber, glimpses of cosmic events, potential catastrophes, and transformative possibilities. Civilizations rising and falling, stars being born and dying, threats that existed on scales humanity had never conceived. "Not a threat," Zentara communicated, "but a challenge, a test of potential." Military leaders tensed, scientific researchers leaned forward, diplomatic representatives held their breath. The quantum communication device in Marcus's hand grew warm, its crystalline structure creating intricate patterns that seemed to map something far beyond the immediate perception of those in the chamber. "We've been preparing for this moment for centuries," Marcus said softly, "without even knowing what we were preparing for." Zentara's form began to expand, filling the chamber with a quantum resonance that challenged the very perception of reality. "The promise," the alien diplomat communicated, "is about to be fulfilled." The diplomatic chamber fell silent. Outside, the vast darkness of space seemed to hold its breath. Humanity's greatest test was about to begin. Convergence. The universe folded and unfolded around them. Dr. Marcus Thompson stood at the epicenter of a moment that would redefine human understanding. The quantum communication device, now fully activated, created a field of energy that transformed the entire interstellar research station into a conduit of cosmic revelation. Zentara's form had evolved beyond anything humanity could comprehend. No longer just an alien diplomat, the being now represented a quantum bridge between realities, between potential futures and forgotten pasts. "The promise," Zentara communicated, the transmission transcending language, "was never about protection, it was about potential." Holographic displays collapsed. Quantum frequencies merged into a single, impossibly complex pattern. Marcus could see it now, the intricate design that had been hidden within the communication device for centuries. Not a weapon, not a warning, but a key. A key to something far greater. Images cascaded through the chamber. civilizations rising and falling, potential futures branching like intricate neural networks, humanity's path not as a single timeline but as a multiplicity of possibilities. "We've been preparing you," Zentara's communication resonated, "for the moment of choice." The quantum device in Marcus's hand became a living thing. Generations of his family's research, the countless hours of study, the unwavering belief in a promise, it all converged in this singular moment. Outside the station, space itself seemed to ripple. Quantum frequencies that had been dormant for centuries suddenly sparked to life. Every human-controlled planet, every space station, every outpost received a simultaneous transmission. Not a message, a choice. Kira Nakamura's voice cut through the quantum resonance. "Marcus, the data streams, they're showing multiple potential futures, but we're being asked to choose." The choice was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Not a simple decision between two paths, but a complex quantum selection that would reshape the very nature of human existence. Zentara's form expanded, becoming a living map of possibilities. "Civilizations rise," the communication came, "not through conquest but through understanding, not through force but through choice." Marcus understood now. The promise wasn't about protection, it was about potential, about giving humanity the opportunity to see beyond its current limitations. The quantum communication device pulsed in his hand, a link to the original encounter, to Dr. Elena Rodriguez, to that moment centuries ago when a promise was first made. "What happens if we choose wrong?" Marcus asked. Zentara's response was both a warning and a reassurance. "There is no wrong, only potential." The station systems began to integrate with the quantum field. Researchers, diplomats, military leaders, all found themselves connected to a singular moment of cosmic significance. A choice waited. Humanity held its breath. The promise would be fulfilled,